Yeah. So how many members do we have today? 7. Okay. So what I was saying is, this is not a normal class because the sir couldn't take the class today, and this is a revision class for the people who joined late, who needs some help with the HTML. So I'll be discussing only about HTML, but that too only basics, not everything what was discussed in the class, because I'll give you the basic idea and you have to go through the videos again, those who are left behind, so that they can continue with the other classes. Okay. Yeah. So this is for the new students. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fine. So I hope the new people, whoever have joined late, I hope you have all installed the Notepad plus plus. Notepad plus plus, is it installed? No. Visual Studio is okay, but okay, Visual Studio is also okay. So you are working on Visual Studio directly, right? Okay, fine. So then I'll show you in Visual Studio itself. Okay. So let me do one thing. Let me create some folder. So I'll create a folder named, what is this? This is okay. I'll just name it 9 to 10:30. Okay. So here, so if we have the Visual Studio Code installed, so I hope you know how to install the Visual Studio Code. You just go to your browser, just type Visual Studio Code and go to this download link. So you just download it from here. Okay. So by default, so if anyone is working on Mac OS, then you can go for this. In Mac OS, you can go for this universal option, zip, which is a zip file. Okay. And then you can continue with the installation. So for other things, so for Windows users, either you go here or directly click on the download button. Okay, fine. So now, so provided that I have Visual Studio Code installed, then what I need to do is I go to an empty folder, whatever I need. So here I just run this cmd. I open the command prompt. This is known as the command prompt, isn't it? So here I just write code space dot, okay, and press enter. Remember there's a space, okay, code space dot, and the Visual Studio Code will open in that folder. So you can see here it is showing 9 to 10:30, 10.30. That is the folder name, and it is showing empty because we didn't create any file. Okay, so you can create a file from here. Here we have options like create file, create folder. Okay, so this is new folder and new file. So I'll create a file. So let me name it as, so this is the first, so first.html. I name it like this. Okay. So I have the file ready. Okay. Now I just need to start writing. But for that, for writing, we need to know the syntax. Okay, just 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. So the basic syntax of an HTML page is, we have some elements. Okay, there are some elements. So the main element that we need for creating a page is an HTML element. It looks like this. This part is known as, this whole thing is known as an element. Okay, this whole thing is So this whole thing is known as an element. Okay. So this part is known as the starting tag and this part is known as the ending tag. And in between whatever we write is known as content. Okay. Whatever I write here, it is known as content. Okay, fine. So the most important thing is we need the HTML tag. Then we have two more tags inside the HTML tag for now. So what we have is we have a head element and we have one body element. Okay. So, so in head element for now, you don't need to know much. Just you can learn one thing, that is the title element. Okay. So this title element, what it will do. So let me show you something. So inside a body tag, whatever you write, it will be displayed in the browser. Okay. So yeah. So let me write something. Hello. And if I save this, and now I need to run this file. I have written something in the body, but I need to run this file in the browser because HTML files can be run in the browser only, isn't it? So how do you run it? So for that, either you have to go to the folder and double click this file, okay, so that it will automatically open in browser, or you can do one thing. Here you can right click this file, right click, and if you don't know where the file is, just click on reveal in file explorer. It will open the file in that folder, and then you have to double click it. Okay, so here we can see hello. We can see the hello. Are you able to see it? Yes. So hello is written there. Okay, fine. And what else do we see on this browser tab? We can see here at the top, the tab name is first.html. Okay, that is the file name, isn't it? And here what is written? Here this is the location of the file. In the E drive, I have a VLR folder. Inside the VLR folder, I have a folder named 9 to 1030, and inside that folder, I have first.html field. Okay, so that first.html file is being run in the current tab. Okay, that's what it is saying. But if you see the previous tab that we went, where we went for downloading Visual Studio Code, here we can see the tab name is something different. They are writing download Visual Studio Code, something like that. So how to do that? So for that, what we have is we have the title element. Okay, so where do we write the title element? We write it in the head section. Okay, so in the head section, I'll have a title element like this. In the title element, whatever I write, it will be displayed in the tab name. Okay, so what do I write here? I write here HTML intro. Okay, so now I save this file, go to the browser, reload the page. I can see HTML intro is shown at the top. Okay, so this is the purpose of the title tag. Okay, now let's see the other important things. Now this body, inside the body I wrote hello. Okay, then I wrote how are you, and save this and go to the browser. It is displayed fine, that's okay. But there is a problem. The problem is whatever text I write here, it will be shown just like what I have written. We can't change the color, or forget about color, we can't even change how it is looking like. I mean, I can't, here I have written hello on the first line, how are you on the next line, but it is not coming in the next line, isn't it? It is placed side by side. Again, I want the hello as a heading. That even that is not possible here, because whatever I write, everything is displayed in the same font size, same font color, and with no extra styling. Okay, so that's why we don't write like this. Okay, we can write like this, but if we write like this, everything will be placed just side by side. Okay, so for that what we have is we have something called the text formatting. Okay, how do you format the text? How do you organize the text? How do you decide the text, how the text will appear in the browser? That is known as text formatting. Okay, so there are a lot of text formatting elements in HTML. Okay, we'll start with the basic ones. So the most basic is the headings. So we have headings from H1 to H6. So for example, I write here H1 element. Inside the H1 element, I'll put some content like welcome to HTML. Okay, I save this, go to the browser, reload it. I can see welcome to HTML is appearing in bold and big fonts, isn't it? This is because of the H1 element. H1 element is formatting the text. It is telling the browser that please display this text in bold and big letters. Okay, so that's what H1 is doing. In the same way, we have H2, H3, H4 like that. Okay, H5, H6, H1 to H6 we have. So H2 again, enjoy practicing. So you can see this is little bit smaller. Okay, like that. H3 is more smaller. Okay, so like that H1 to H6 we have. So H6 is the lowest size, H1 is the highest size. Okay, fine. Now then we have something called the paragraph. So for example, I need one heading. I wrote one heading. Okay, fine. Now I want to continue writing something about HTML. Okay, so what do? I use a paragraph tag, P tag, P element. Okay, so inside the P element, I need to write whatever content I need. Okay, but it will display as a paragraph. That means it will not be, the font size will not be huge like H1. It will be smaller. Okay, so HTML means this something I will write. Okay, just to show you. Hypertext markup language. Okay, it is a okay. Okay, fine. So how does this look like? It looks like this. HTML means hypertext markup language. It is a very powerful language. Okay, that is about the paragraph tag. Okay, then so these are the basic things. Now the thing is we have something which can change the text it looks like. Okay, for example, we need something like bold, italic, underlined, those kind of things. Okay, let's see how do we do that. So let me say I want this HTML word to be in bold. Okay, so how do I do that? So what do I do is we have a B tag, B element. Okay, so I'll use the B element here. So I'll use like this B, and then I'll enclose it. I'll enclose the HTML word inside the B element. So we have the starting tag here, we have the content here, we have the ending tag here. So what will happen now? The HTML word will become bold, as you can see here. Are you able to see? So this is how the B element works. Now, then we have italics. Italics means slanted text. Yes. Okay. So how do we do that? So for that we have I element. Okay. So let's say I want this text, hypertext markup language, to be in italics. Okay. So how do I do that? So for that I'll use the I element in for this part. So I and I'll put it here before the full stop. Okay. So now you can see the hypertext markup language. Okay. So this is how we use the italic tag, I tag. Okay, I element. Okay. Then what's next? Then we have the underline. Okay, how do we underline text? So let's say I want to underline this powerful word. Okay, it is a very powerful language. So how do I do that? So what do I do? I use the U tag. There is an element called the U element. Okay. So U and okay. Now save and go to the browser, and we can see the powerful word is underline. So this way we can see we have done this. We have used the H1 tag here. We have used P element for this whole thing, and we have used B element for bold. We have used I element for italic, and U element for underline. Okay, I hope these are already taught in the class. We have gone through it, right? Just to revise it, I am showing. Okay. Okay, fine. Now what else is there? So now there is something called striked text. Okay, so for that we need the S element. So why do we need that strike text? To correct something, to cut something, to show something, what to say, to correct and show something which is correct. Okay, so let's say initially I wrote here, instead of powerful, if I write here, it is a very useless language. Okay, so here what I want to do is I want to strike this useless word and I want to write the powerful word. Okay, so for that what do? I just use the S tag here, S, like this, and end it here, and then I write the powerful word. So first let's see how the S tag is looking like. S element is looking like this. Okay, like yeah. So exactly, that's where we use it. Actually, we never use it in some books or something to correct something. Where we use it, that is a very good answer. That is when we display some MRP to show some discount, we cut it and write the new MRP, and then we write how much discount, let's say 10%, 20%, like that. Okay, nice. So let me write the powerful word. So again I'll write it in a underline just to emphasize it, powerful. Okay, so it is a very powerful language. This is how S tag is used. Now, so up to this, actually, the basic things are over. But again, there are some other things for complex displaying of text, like to write an English book. This much of knowledge is enough. If you want to copy a English PDF, that is enough. But when you go into maths and science, it becomes difficult because there are some things like H2SO4, CO2, log n, log e to e5, like that, isn't it? Base log, we have those things, isn't it? So how do you use HTML to write these kind of things? Okay, so let's see how does it look like. For example, we'll go for 2 power 6, for example. So how does it look like? It looks something like this, isn't it? 2 to the power 6. So how do you write it? So for that, so these kind of texts are known as superscript. Whatever is written at the top is known as superscript. Okay. 2 is nothing. 2 is just normal text. But 6 is superscript. Okay. So how do I write it? So let me write here. So what is the value of, let's take a small number like 2 to the power 3. What is the value of 2 to the power 3? 8. Okay. So let me write that. So how do I write it? So again, let me take a p element. Okay. Okay, I'll use a p element, no problem. So inside the p element, we'll write 2. Okay. And then I need to write that 3. Okay. So how do I do that? So I use the sup tag, sup element, and I write here 3. And then I can write here equal to 8. Let's check this. 2 to the power 3, that means 2 cube equal to 8. Okay, like that. Now let's talk about the subscript. Okay, so where do we use the subscript? In maths, in logarithms, okay, and in chemistry mostly. In other places also it is there, but these are the 2 places where we use them mostly. So let's try with log base 10 something. Okay, so p, I wrote log, and then I want to write in the base, I want to write something like 2. Okay, and then I want to write 8, or yeah, 16. Okay, is it clear? Are we getting what we want? So what will be the value? Log 2 to the power 16. What is the value? Don't know. It's 4. Okay, the meaning of this is what power should be raised for 2 so that we will get 16. So 2 to the power 4 is 16. So that means we can write something like this, equal to 4. Yeah, that's it. Okay, fine. Now more examples of subscript is about the chemical elements, chemical formula. So let me write something like CO2. So I wrote CO and then SUB, and I just write 2. Okay, just like that. If we have more subscripts, for example H2SO4, we have 2 subscripts. How do we write that? So that is also same thing. I write H, then SUB, then 2, and then after the sub I have to write SO, and then again sub, and here 4. Okay, so this is about text formatting elements. Okay, so let's see if we missed something. Let me check in our website. Yeah, line breaks are left, and yeah, fine. So let me show you the line break. So now there is a thing here. Whatever we wrote here, welcome to HTML. Before using these text formatting elements, when before writing H1 and all, what I was writing, I was just writing hello, I was just writing welcome, isn't it? So what was happening? I was writing hello at the top and welcome below, but it was coming side by side, isn't it? But now what happened? Now also I'm writing it one after the other, but it is not coming in the same line. Why is it so? It is everything is coming in the next line. Can you, isn't it? Everything is coming in the next line. After the h1, the p is coming below. Again after p, again this part is coming below, again this part is coming below, again this part is coming below, and at last we got this. Okay, why that is happening? That is because these are all known as block level elements. Now what is this block level element? In HTML we have two kinds of elements. One is known as block level element and another is known as inline element. Okay, so what are these things? So what a block level element does is, whenever we create a block level element, it occupies the whole width of the display viewport. This is known as a viewport, this whole width, okay, of the display. So whenever we create these block level elements, it occupies, it takes the whole width. It will not let anyone come in its way. Even if it is one word, it will take the whole line. It will not place any other thing in this other element in this line. Okay, so that's why what is happening. If I can show you one thing now. So let me show you this thing. This is the total view width, isn't it? Now if I right click, if I right click this welcome to HTML and click on inspect, and if I put my mouse, so when I open the, when I click on inspect, automatically some part comes up. This is known as the developer tools. Okay, this panel, this whole part, this black part is known as the developer tools. So this is for in short we can say this is dev tools. So we are running the Chrome browser, so this is known as Chrome DevTools. If you are running the Mozilla browser, it will be Firefox DevTools or Mozilla DevTools. Okay. Now here we have many tabs in this DevTools. We have elements, we have console, we have sources, we have network. So many things are there. But for now, we just want to see what is there inside the elements tab. So in the element section, whatever code we are writing here will be shown in the elements tab. Okay, so you can see here HTML tag is there, head tag is there. Inside the head tag, title is there, HTML intro, whatever I wrote, and then body, h1, like that, everything is there. Now if I put my mouse over this h1, we can see the text is okay, that is small, but can you see a blue part, isn't it? What is the blue part doing? It is occupying the whole width. Even if I wrote only 3 words, it is occupying the whole width. Okay, so these kind of elements are known as block level elements. Okay, these are known as block level elements. Now let's see what happens. So again, so this is an h1 element. Now what about this p element? Is also a block level element. It will also occupy the whole width. Okay, so all are p's, whatever we created, all were p's. Okay, so that's why they are occupying the whole width. Now let me do one thing. This h2so4, I put it in a p tag, isn't the p element. Let me change this to a span. There is an element called span. Okay, so in the span, yeah, so I'm writing the same thing, but I'm writing it in a span element. Okay, span is also used for displaying text. Now let's see what happens. So is there any change in the display? No, isn't it? So that means whether I write it in a p tag or write it in a span tag, it will look the same. That means the font size or the font color or the boldness, isn't it? So those things are same. There is no difference. But let's see now what happens if we hover over the element. As we all saw, h1 is block level element. We can see from here it is occupying the whole width. All p are occupying whole width. But now see what happens when I put my mouse on the span tag. What is happening? Is it occupying the whole width? No, it is only occupying the space it needs. Okay, it says okay, I only need this much of space. So if anyone wants to come here, they can stay. Okay, So these are known as inline elements. So now let's see what happens when we place two inline elements together. Now here I have a span element. So immediately after that, if I put another span element, so let's say hello. So the previous span, what was the previous span? That was H2SO4. H2SO4 is not taking the whole width. So that means already some space is there, isn't it? So what will happen? The next span will come to the side. Okay, save this, go to the browser and reload. Can you see? So it has come to the side. Okay, so that's why these are known as inline elements. Okay, like that. Okay, fine. Now suppose I'm not using any block level element. I'm using only inline elements. But I want the hello to come to the next line. Then what do I do? If you search in Google and see the list of block level elements and inline elements, you will see a lot of block level elements are there, a lot of inline elements are there. Okay, so sometimes we may not be using block level elements, we may be using some inline elements, but I want the next element to come to the next line. Then what do we do? So for that we have the line breaks. Okay, so line break, how do I use? Here after the H2SO4 I use a BR tag, BR element. Oh, sorry. BR element. Again, okay, let me show you first this. So the hello came to the next line. Okay. Okay. Now, if you observe carefully, whatever elements we have created, we know that some are block level, some are inline. But again, there is a problem. There is a small thing. If you observe carefully, this element is having a starting tag, an ending tag, and some content in between, isn't it? This B tag is having some starting tag, ending tag, and some content inside it, isn't it? This P tag, this is the starting tag, this is the ending tag, this whole part is the content. Okay, but what about the BR element? Does it have any content in it? Okay, so it is like, it is just like only a single tag and no content inside it. So these kind of elements are known as empty elements. Okay, empty elements. So like that BR, we have another empty element. So a lot of empty elements are there, like IMG, input, many are there. Okay, so just like BR, we have something called HR. HR means horizontal rule. Okay, that means a line. So if I put a HR here, what will happen? You get a line like this. Okay, fine. Okay. Now, so this is all about basic text formatting. Okay, this is enough for any kind of basic displaying of text, whether you are working on HTML, CSS, or Angular, or React, whatever be it. This much of knowledge is enough to display any kind of things. Okay. Okay. Fine. Now let's move forward. So what do we have next? Okay. Now let's see some more HTML elements. Okay. Text formatting, whatever I have shown you, this is enough. And if sir has shown anything extra, you just go through the videos. Okay. But this much is okay. Okay, fine. Now let's see. So till now, what we have seen about the headings, we have seen paragraph, we have seen span, we have seen all these things like superscript, subscript, bold, italic, underline. Okay, fine. Now, how do we organize our content? So whatever we are writing, this is some content, isn't it? How do we organize things in a proper way? So here what is happening, whenever we are writing something, either it is coming side by side or it is coming in a new line, but that is just basic. We are unable to do anything extra. Like I want to write something like, so I wrote CO2 H2SO4, but I can't write something like it is, do you know what are bullets? In Microsoft Word we have bullets, isn't it? Numbered bullets, isn't it? Some dot dot kind of thing. We can't do that. Of course we can write something like this. Let me show you. Let's say I want to name some fruits. Okay, so what I can do here, I can put a p tag and I write 1 apple, then again 2 mango, again 3 orange. I can write like this, isn't it? This can be done. It will look like this. I don't have any problem in that. But for example, I have 100 fruits. Then I have to keep on writing this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and there may be some mistakes as well. If I miss a number after 7, I wrote 9. The whole order will be wrong, isn't it? So I can't keep on checking the number, text, everything. Okay. So we have a solution for that also. Okay. So these kind of things are known as lists. Okay. Have you gone through the list video? Okay. So we can display lists in HTML, but there are two kinds of lists: unordered list and ordered list. So unordered list means we don't have any order. That means we don't say that, okay, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, or this is A, B, C. We don't write anything like that. We just give some dot, give some bullets, isn't it? So let's see how do we do that. So for that, and one more thing before going into list, there's something called nesting of elements. What is happening here? You can see here there is no nesting. What is the meaning of nesting? Something inside something. Okay. Here in the H1 element, what is happening? Inside the H1 element, I am directly writing the text. So we don't have any other element inside the H1, isn't it? We are directly having the text. That's it. That is just simple. But if you see the paragraph element, you can see inside the P, we have a B, one U, again P. So inside P, we are having other elements. So this is known as nesting elements. Okay, nested elements, nesting of elements. We are nesting the elements in this part. Okay, okay. And we are having several levels of nesting. Inside P, we are having this thing. Okay, let me show you. Inside this P, we are having another P, and inside this P again we are having SUP. So this is a two-level nesting, isn't it? So we are having different kind of nestings here, nesting elements. Okay, fine. Now let me do something here. Let me remove this HR and put it after this P. Okay. Okay, fine. It will look the same, no problem. I remove the 1, 2, 3 apple mango things. Now let me show you how to write the unordered list. So let's start with unordered list. So what is that element? That is the UL element. Inside UL, we will nest more elements. We'll use nesting. So inside UL, what we write? We write LI. LI, apple, mango, and orange, for example. Okay. So now let's save this, go to the browser and reload it. You can see we got some bulleted list. Okay, this is known as unordered list. Okay, fine. Then now we have ordered list as well. So ordered lists are something like 1, 2, 3, ABC, Roman numerals, okay, that kind of things. Let's see that. So for that, this li part will not change. This will stay the same. Only the ul will change. Instead of ul, we have to write ol. That is ordered list. Have you gone through this in the videos? Okay. So inside the ol, I just place the same elements. And let's see how does it look like. Look like this. So it is putting 1, 2, 3 by default. Okay. So okay, fine. Now I think we can change this as well. Did you see what happened? Instead of 1, 2, 3, what came? A, B, C. And how did I do that? I used type equal to A. Okay. Now, what is this type? This kind of text, what we write. So here, this is the starting tag and this is the ending tag. Whatever extra things we write in the starting tag, like this, something equal to something in the starting tag is known as an attribute. Okay, it is known as an attribute. So this type is an attribute of the ol element. Okay, in the same way here I don't know whether it will work or not. Let me check once. So type equal to circle, I don't know, let's see. Yeah, it's working. The dot changed to some circle. Okay, so let me tell you one thing. When we don't write anything here, it takes some default value. When we don't specify any attribute, what happens is it takes some default value. So what is that default value for both the elements? If you see here, it is a solid dot. So this dot is known as disk, D-I-S-C, disk. Okay, so that means it takes type equal to disk. Okay, that is not a circle, that is not a dot, that is known as disk in HTML. And ordered list, what does it do? It takes by default type equal to 1. Okay, type equal to 1, if you write, it will be displayed like this, but it takes that by default. You don't need to say that. But if you want to change something, then we can use the type attribute. So for example, let me show you here. In the ul, type is equal to, I have shown you circle. So what happens when I write circle? It becomes like this. Okay, then we have something called square. See this, you can change it. Okay, fine. In the same way, for the order list, we have something like type equal to 1 is default. So we, even if I write 1, that is of no use. It is already 1, isn't it? So if I write A, capital A, it will start from capital A. If I write small a, it will start from small a. Okay. If I write a Roman I, that means 1, it will start like this. Okay. So if I have another element, so HTML is smart enough. Okay. It recognizes, it understands Roman numerals as well. So if I write here pineapple, it will automatically write IV, that means 4. Okay. We don't need to tell the system about that. Now, if I write here capital I, it will look like this. Okay. So this way we have all these things. A, I, 1, like that. Okay. And we can even specify from where to start. So let's say I wrote 1 and it started from 1. Okay. Because of writing type equal to 1, it is not starting from 1. Type equal to 1 means I'm telling the computer that please use the numbering system. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Don't use A, B, C, D. Use 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm saying that by writing type equal to 1. But for example, I want the apple to start, not to start from 1, I want to start it from 50. Then I can write something like start is equal to 50. So here I am saying two things. I am saying use numbers. Type equal to 1 means use numbers. Use 1, 2, 3, 4, but start from 50. Okay. So what will happen? It starts from 50. Okay. Like that. So if I write here, type is capital I, but will this work? Yes, it is working. L means 50 in Roman numerals. Okay. So that is also working. Like that, we can customize our lists, unordered and ordered lists. Okay. Now, what is left next? Okay. Okay, we'll start tables. Okay, we'll start. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll start the tables in new with the tables. Okay. So this is how lists are displayed. But you can see here, we are able to only display one list of items. We are not able to display some more kind of data like a table. In table, what happens? What is this? This is like a column, isn't it? This list is like a column. It is a long list of names, but we are not able to display it in 4 columns or side by side kind of things. More row wise or column wise, we are not able to display, isn't it? So that can be used, that can be possible using tables. Okay. So have you gone through the tables video? Okay, fine. So now let me show you how a table looks like. So for the table, we need a table element. So table table. If I write only table, does there anything come? Nothing. Okay. So the syntax of table element is inside the table element, we will have tables don't take the data as columns. Okay. It always takes the data as rows. So you have to write. So if I have, so for example, let's do one thing. Let us take an example from Google Photos and let's try to create that table. Okay. So yeah, this is the small table. Okay. So what is happening here? Here table is not thinking that this is one person column, this is one age column. No, it is not thinking like that. What HTML thinks is this person and age, this is one row. Chris and 38 is one row. Dennis and 45 is one row. Sarah and 29 is one row, and Karen and 47 is one row. So it needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows to create the table. Okay, that's what HTML understands. Okay, so now let's create the rows. We have created the table element, that is the main element. Now we have to do again nesting of elements, other elements. So what are those elements? We need rows. So first we need 5 rows. Okay, so how do we create the rows? So for row we have the tr element. Tr means table row. Okay, so we need, how many rows we want? 5. So I'll just copy it and make 5 rows. So we have 5 rows here. Okay, now now we have to start from the first one. So in the first one, what we have in the first row, again we have to do, we write the things. So now the first row consists of how many parts? First row, what is there in the first row? What is there in the first row? Person and age. That means 2 things are there, isn't it? So we have to create, so this is known as 1 1 cell, isn't it? Table cell. So we have to create 1 1 table cell. So what do we have there? For that we have a td element. What is td? Table data. So td element is, so how many td? We need 2. First td, what is there? Person. second TD, what is there? Age. Okay. Then we go to the next row now. First row is complete, isn't it? How is it looking like? Can we see that? Yeah, it is coming person age. Fine. So what is the next row? What does next row have? Chris and 38. So that means again two cells. So in the second TR, we'll create again two TD. First one is Chris and 38. Okay. This is also coming as well. Okay, fine. Then we have Dennis and 45. So in the next TR, I just create TD. Dennis and 45. Oh, sorry. I have to write it in a TD. 45. Then we have Sarah and 29. Then Karen and 47. Last year, that is the last year. Karen and 47. Okay. So our table data is complete. We don't need to write anything more actually. So how does it look like? It is looking like this. So it is looking like this. So let me add some. So the table is looking like this. But the original table what we had was having borders, boxes, isn't it? But we are not having anything. So we need those things also. Okay. Forget about the color. These colors we won't put it now because we have not started CSS. So forget about that. So at least the box structure should be there, isn't it? So what do we have here? We have something called in the table. As I told you, what was this? What is this type? What is the name of this thing? What is it called? Type is called attribute, isn't it? Type is an attribute of the UL element. Again, type is also the attribute of the OL element, isn't it? So like that, table is having an attribute called border. Okay. So let me write something like this. Border is equal to maybe 1. 1 will be the thickness of the border. So when I save this, go to the browser and we get some table like this. Okay. Is it fine? So this way you can create any number of tables. If you want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 cells are there. For example, this thing is how many cells it is having in one row? 4 cells. That means inside one TR you have to write 4 TD, isn't it? That's it. Nothing else is there. If you know whatever I shown here, if you know this part, you can do anything actually. Okay. Okay, fine. Then okay. In tables, let me show you something. So this is also fine. Now again, there is we are having this some kind of thick border, isn't it? It is not a single line. So that thing can be done in CSS. Okay, there is something called border collapse. So when you learn CSS, you will be going through that. So I can just show you for now. You don't need to, don't worry. Okay, you don't go through this thing. I'm just showing just for creating a proper table, but that is not needed for now. border collapse, collapse. So if I write something like this, what will happen? The table will be like this. Okay, fine. That's not needed for now. If you are able to display this table, that is enough. Okay, because this way you can display any kind of table. There is no problem in it if the border comes like this. Okay, fine. Now there are some different kind of tables, like this table. This table is a little bit complex. How do you create this kind of table? So there are some concepts like row span and call span. Have you gone through row span and call span in the videos? No. Okay. Let's see that. Maybe in some other video it may be there. I don't know. I haven't gone through that. So there is something called a row span and call span. So yeah. So how do we do that? Now, what I told is tables are created using rows, not columns, isn't it? One row is there. But oh wait, let me take a small example. This is something too complex. Something like this. This is a basic one. Okay, we'll try this one. Okay, we'll try to create this table. Name and age, same table, but some less data. So what is the table saying actually? Here the table, what was it saying? It was saying that Chris age is 38, Dennis age is 45, Sarah age is 29, Karen age is 47. But what is this table saying? Can you tell me what it is saying about Ajay and Priya? So they are of the same age, isn't it? Because they are pointing to the same box, isn't it? That means Ajay and Priya are of 24. Their age is 24. So how do we create this kind? Because if we create in our way, it will split the big box into two, isn't it? So how do we use this? So now let's see this. So for this, we need the row span attribute. Okay. So what is this row span? So the meaning of row span is how much the row will span. Span means how much it will occupy or how much it will go. Okay. So this first box, Ajay. Actually, this is not. Okay, let's see. No problem. So let's take a small table. Table like this. Okay. So let's try to create this table. Again, one more thing. In this table, whatever we created, this person and age, you can make it bold as well. Instead of TD, what you write? TH. Instead of TD, you write TH. And it will become bold. So that, so what is the meaning of TH? Table heading, table header, you can say. So this will become, it will look like a header. Okay, fine. Okay, so now let's go back to the next one. Let's see what is happening here. So name and age. So in the table element, we will first create the tr. In the tr, we'll have two TDs, right? What are those TDs? Name and age. And instead of TD, I'll write TH. Okay. Okay, fine. So now what about the next TR? What is happening in the next TR? In the next TR, how many TD I need? 2. So what will be those? Ajay and 24, isn't it? Okay. So inside the tr, and write td Ajay and what is the next one? 24. Okay. And what about the third tr? What is there? Why 2? What are those two? So there is the problem. So what is happening is we actually it is not 2, it is 1. The previous 24 what we had, it is extended to the next line. Okay. So what we will do is in the next tr we will not write 2 td. We'll only write 1 td. Okay. We'll write only 1 td, that is Priya, and the next one we will keep it blank. That means next one we will not even use. Okay. But in the previous one we have to do something so that it will come to the next line. Okay. Let's first write the things. So inside the last tr we will have only td. Okay. In this td, what I will do? Priya. Okay. So first tr is having 2 th, that is name and age. Second one is having Ajay and 24. Third is having Priya. Just what was displayed here. Okay. Now let's save this, go to the browser and reload. Oh, okay. Let me put the table border as well. Border equal to 1. Okay. 0. 0, what will happen? It will not get anything because border is 0, isn't it? So I need to write 1. 1 means the thickness of the border. If I write a more number like 5, it will get more thick. Okay. So basically normally I can write 1 just to display. And there is no gap between the first table and second table. Can you see? So what I can do for now, I can put a br tag here. Okay. And if I want, I can put a hr also. It will create a line, isn't it? So like this. Okay. Okay. Now let's come back to our example. So what was happening here? Name and age we are able to display. Ajay and 24 we are able to display. Priya also we are able to display. Now our next challenge is how to make this 24 big. It has to come down. Okay. So this is one row, isn't it? Ajay and 24 is one row. So we need to use the row span attribute. So what happens is row span. I told you the meaning of row span. And the meaning of row span is how much of space it will occupy. One row will occupy. What is the width of the row it will have? Okay. So by default, what is it? It is occupying only one row. So that's why the row span value is 1. It has a row span value, it is 1. If I put 2, it will occupy 2 lines. Okay. So let me do one thing. For now, let me remove this tr Priya. Okay. Let me remove this. Then what will happen? I have only one line. Okay. But if in this tr, if I write something like this, okay. Okay. So in this td, if I write something like row span is equal to 2. It's wrong. One second. td row span attribute. Yeah, I wrote it correct. Then what happened? Okay, fine. No problem. So to this 24, we have to make it occupy 2 lines, isn't it? So what do I use? I use a row span is equal to 2, so that it will come to the next line. Okay, it was like this, right? It was looking like this, and now if I put this value, the 24 will come to the next line like this. Okay, so this is how what I am doing. I am telling the 24, please take 2 lines. Okay, Priya is alone, so come down, I am saying. Okay, so this way we are making it occupy 2 lines. Okay, like that. So this is how row span is used. Again, we have something called the call span as well. Okay, so let's see one small example of call span if it is there. This is a small example of call span. Let's try to create this. So again, I'll put a BR and HR for this table, and we'll create another table. So what is the TH? Name and expense. Oh, sorry. So next year, what is there? Arun and $10, right? What is there in the next year? Priya and $8. Oh, Priya, $8. Okay, fine. And what is there in the last TR? Can you say how many TD is there? Only one, isn't it? So what is the TD? Some dollar, $18. Okay, let me write it. So in the last year, we have only one TD. Inside this TD, we are having some colon $18. Okay, so how it will look like? Only if we write only one TD, it will look something like this. Okay, again I forgot the table border equal to 1. Okay, but now what we need to do is, just like our previous example, we have to make this sum. It has to occupy the two rows, uh, 2 columns actually. 2 columns. This is 1 column. Sorry, this name Arun, Priya and sum is 1 column, expense is another column, isn't it? So we have to, it is occupying only 1 column width, we have to go to the next part as well. So what do I do? I write here call span is equal to 2. If you want 3, you can put 3. Okay, if you want 4, you can put 4. In the same way for the previous one also, row span also, if you want 3 rows, you can write 3. Okay, so call span, when I write 2, it looks like this, and that's what we wanted, isn't it, from you? Okay, so this is how row span and call span works. Okay, so now I hope you understood row span and call span. So what you can do is, so first thing is, I think this is enough for today. What you need to do is, whatever text formatting elements we have seen, you just go through those things. What are the things we saw? H1, from H1 to H6, we have lot of elements. Then we have paragraph, then we have bold, then we have italic, underlined, then superscript, subscript. Then we came to this BR, empty elements, BR, HR. Then we saw lists. Then we how to change the type of list. Then ordered list, again how to change the type of ordered list, and also the starting point also we saw how to change it. You have to go through all those things, practice it. Then we saw the table, how to apply border, how to use a row span and col span. Okay, that's what we saw today. Now you have to practice all those things and try to do some more examples, like creating something like this, or maybe I'll show you something. Creating something like this. I think this is a very good example of row span and col span. Okay, whenever you search HTML table, this table will be always there at the top. Okay, so just try to create this table. If you're able to do this, then you can go for this one as well. Okay, so like this, please try to do. Okay, okay, then is anyone having any doubt? Okay, okay, then we'll stop the class here. We see some things, more things tomorrow. Okay, yeah.